Huh.
Okay, going to put a truss rod in this neck blank. So, oh, I didn't grab the router yet. I'll get that in a second. So I made this a long time ago. First guitar I built, I made this. I won't even go into all that explanation because I had to have a radius, and I'm not even going to talk about that. Using just a two-way truss rod here, and so just a flat slot in the top of the neck is fine. Anyway, I like to use this because I have a rectangular base on my router, and it slides right in here and just keeps it centered. Even though right now the neck is still straight, and I could use a guide and do it that way, I made this so that no matter what, if I cut my neck out first, or I could always use it this way. And so basically I found center. I have a mark here where the rod's going to end. I'm going to have a couple screws in it, and the screws are the one that goes up here on the front end of the neck. It's actually shorter. Well, it's longer than the truss rod is tall, but I got a 1/4 inch. I'm going through here, so it's about 1/8 of an inch shorter. I got about a 1/4 inch penetration into the top of the neck with that one. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape across here and do the glue-on thing. And I would just put it on the ends where the screws are, but I want it in the middle too so that this stays straight. It's probably not critical, but by the time you get 2 layers of tape back to back, if you don't have that in the center, it's going to have a little gap under it, and I don't want to do that. I guess it's probably not critical, but it's the way I operate, which is probably goofy. If you ever did any framing layout as a carpenter, you know that you put a line and the X is on the side of the line you want your stud to be. In this case, it's the side I want my tape to be, but that's why I just do that. Just a quick mark and an X puts me right where I need to be. Way too much glue there. I got a feeling I'm going to glue this to the neck. I'm going to take some of that off of there. That's probably okay, maybe not. A little spritz of accelerator. Oh, that's terrible. What the heck did I do? Well, that lines up. Yeah, it lines up if I put it where I actually marked it for, which is kind of silly. I'm moving my template inadvertently, but it's not going to hurt anything. The reason I'm gluing this down is because when you put the screws in, it tends to pull, even if you pilot drill them a little bit, it tends to want to pull with the grain, and I don't want to pull it off my line. So that's why I glued it. What I did here was I was thinking my tape was at the end of the line. I'm just going to be cutting the end of my channel right down to where the cut in the guide here ends. All right, so I'm not going to punch these in very deep at all. Alright, so I'm going to go grab my router and my other stuff, so I'll turn you off for a second while I do that. Alright, so I got the router and got a couple cutters, so let's see what this rod, about 245. So 5,000 shy being a 1/4 inch. So I got a 1/4 inch cutter right here. And then I got the StewMac one it's a bit under. No, it's a lot under, so I'm going to have to go with the 1/4 inch one. And it'll be fine. Yeah, because this is all the way down to 225, so that's way narrow for that. Alright, I'll just change it to millimeters. So the depth on this thing, I've got it set on my caliper. Yeah, it's 367 thousandths, which is, what is it, 3/8 is pretty close to that. So it's reading, just measuring it. Oh, get up in the camera. So I'm just measuring it because it's easier for me to do that as far as setting the router. So we're just looking at 1230 seconds. 1230 seconds is a little shy of that number. So now what I ought to do is just tape this thing down to the bench while I'm at it. So we got right there. So that's top. Let's see what we get when we go. That's 8. 7 down. screwdriver. I'm going to bring that up to my 12 mark. It's a little long right now. Came a little too far. Alright, so I got 2 steps. First step's going to take me 7/30 seconds in, and the second step will take me to the rest of the depth to 3 seconds. It's going off the end of the peg head here, so it just goes out to nothing. And then this side's going to come up to this notch. And we're recording. I just double checked because I've been forgetting to turn the camera on from time to time. How's that going to travel? It's going to be okay. Yeah, it's not bad. And you got to plug it in. Trying to read down inside the thing here, which I can't see. Looks good. Looks good. Yep, looks good. All right. Now everybody says it. Seems like everybody's done a demo on the super glue masking tape trick they call it. It's nice because you don't end up with the residue from the two-way tape. Sometimes, still, just don't feel like going through the extra step, and I'll just grab my two-way tape. All it takes to get the residue off is a paper towel with some naphtha on it, so it's not like a huge deal. Anyway, so I'm leaving this thing stuck down here for a minute because I'm going to put this rod in here. So, missed my line by a fuzz, and I also want to square it out, so I've got a 1/4-inch chisel in my drawer. I'm going to go grab, because I also have to widen this out on this end where the nut is, and where it's a little fatter right up here for whatever reason, right at this weld. This is a little fatter than the rest of the rod, and then the nut is fatter still. So I'm going to get the butt end of this where I want it, and then I'll draw some lines here about where this is going to have to chisel in. Also have to go a little deeper right there because that all hangs down below that 12/32 line. And I probably won't keep the camera running, so I'm just going to tell you what's going on. Once the rod is where it's going to go, I may or may not. I think the original I think all these early Gibsons, or all Gibsons period, had the truss rod cover. Yeah, has a truss rod cover that just has the screw right up at the top and in the center. So obviously when you route the channel out, you can't do that. But since I want it to match, I'm going to just glue a little block back in that route so that there's some place to screw that truss rod into. But so I'll get to all that. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my 1/4 inch. Hey guys, I'm getting to a point in this build where I need to just stop talking and stay working. So just going to film random footage as much as I can, and then probably do voiceover later on. So, but once I get the thickness cut, I'll glue a little. I have very little I have to glue on here. That's why I tried to keep this as wide as possible. I thought it might actually not need any stuff glued on, but you can see the peg head. It's the very tippy top points there need it. So I'll have to do a little glue on there. Then I will cut the peg head shape in the side profile. Get the fingerboard glued on, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna shut up and cut and sand and make dust.